Hey, it's another episode of the Desktop Confessional, more from Farewell Week, as we're going to call it. And currently, I am cleaning up shop here. I just had my last meeting with my coach, and basically, it was asking me questions like, "Are there things that I need to know, as part of the transition to for this position?" And I'm kind of like, there's a part of me that was kind of laughing in my head because I'm going, dude, you have no idea. But I decided to say, hey, yeah, you just got to make sure that the Chromebooks are ready to go and all sorts of things. So as part of my goodbyes, and there's just a lot of like sneaky things that I've kind of done in and around campus because I'm very fortunate. It appears that my operations manager is gone for the remainder of the week, and I am not having to worry about dealing with this person. So I'm very much stoked to not have to deal with it. In addition to that, there's just been, a lot of other things that I kind of have to, you know, I'm shredding a ton of paper. I don't have the pile in front of me, but it was pretty tall. It's stuff from 2014, 2015 when my predecessor was here. Now, one of the fun points of the desktop confessional is I get to talk about things since I'm off the clock about more of the uncensored weirdness and things like that. And one of the things that I discovered, and I was thinking like two and two together, but during the time that I was I put in my 2 weeks and they posted my new position up on online, I got a hot tip from a former student of mine, and it turns out that my predecessor here, who in between the time that I came aboard and this person left, there was a 5-month gap. So there was like 5 months in which there was no technology assistant. And it turns out that the person who had this position before I did was actually my former student. And it was one of those weird, like, humorous ironies in the world that I went, you have to be kidding me. Of all the things that had to be connected to me, it had to be that. So what I'm basically doing right now is that giant pile of paper is in the main office. It is currently being shredded. I have to load in a bunch of paper. I mean, this is hundreds and hundreds of pages of paper that I am shredding, and they're all like old acceptable use policy agreements from the 2014-2015 school year, which are no longer relevant because the kids don't even come here anymore. There's just a lot of that going on. So that's part of my cleanup. In addition to that, and just to show you something, but my cabinet's actually getting to the point where it's pretty empty. And then behind here, if you look here, there's a whole stack. And I'll just slide back here real quick. But there's a whole stack of Chromebooks back here, and those Chromebooks are all the reserves. And you probably can't see it with the particular resolution that this camera outputs, but all of them are plugged in. So I've rigged up a charging system for all of these things. And so the answer to the question, what do we need to do while you're gone? It's make sure these kids get back to class without a Chromebook issue. Of course, that's easier said than done. Not that the job is hard, but it's a matter of having the time and the patience to be able to manage these Chromebooks so that they actually do their job. Of course, after Friday, this is no longer my issue. This is no longer my problem. But at the same time, you do have a little bit of a concern. So as I mentioned, yesterday, Tuesday, my video that I had made was released to all advisory students in the school. And needless to say, it did what it was supposed to do, as announce the news of my departure, a few days in advance. And in addition to it, a lot of students are crying pretty badly. There were a lot of tears. I had one advisory, because I sat in an advisory while they were, a 6th grade advisory, while they were showing the video. I had to answer a few questions. And then I had advisory kids from another class come up to me with letters and cards and things like that, and they all just bombarded me with all these things. I ended up hugging a bunch of students. It was really, in many ways, very bittersweet. I know why I'm leaving. I know why, what my purpose is for the next step in my career and all of that. But, it still does not eliminate the feeling of loss that these kids are going to be experiencing, or if they're not experiencing right now. And, I just have to help, be available to help them through it, and, do the best I can until my last day. And yeah, there's a lot of students who are just I get a lot of well wishes in the hallway, we'll miss you, and what are we going to do without you, and can we clone you? And I've gotten a lot of requests. Unfortunately, I can't fulfill them all. First off, cloning Miss M, you can't clone Miss M. Other things too, you cannot replace Miss M. What you can do, though, is you can hire someone to do the same job that Miss M does, but can't guarantee if it's going to come up with the same results. So unfortunately, no, you can't clone Miss M. I'm an original article, and do you really want two of me around? Because, there's a lot of people who could barely stand one. Case in point. Anyway, so that's the current scheme of things here. The goodbyes and the it's actually sinking in, like really sinking in. And, I'm not saying that this is more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but I really did not expect the amount of emotion that was going to come out. I think that, being so stuck and trapped in the actual process of doing my job and dealing with the lack of sympathy and lack of humanity that I've had to deal with in the last several months per se, has really it detached me to some degree from the actual emotion of caring about these kids, because really, in essence, I do care about these kids, and it makes me sad that I have to leave them in this state. I know we're in a middle school, it's a 6 to 8, 2 years from now, these kids are going to be gone, 3 years from now. And they're going to be on to bigger and greater things, and really middle school for them is just another stop on the road, like it has been for me. But at the same time, though, the feelings are real, and what these students are experiencing is real, and it really does speak to how much impact you really do have on students when you're at a school, regardless of how short of a time you're here or how long of a time you're here. I'm hoping that whoever replaces me is competent enough to be able to do the job that I started, and to continue the systems or improve on the systems that I started here. Because the differences between me and my predecessors who have stood in for me is that, yes, they know how to do a process, but what I created here was a system. And my ability to create systems is what brought me to the next level and is allowing me to go across the county and start anew at a fresh new district. So it's been a big deal. To explain it to the kids, the best way that I've been able to explain it to the kids. So the best thing that I've been able to explain is that, hey, I got a promotion. Because it really is a promotion, moving back to district level, and being able to improve myself while enjoying a slight increase in pay, and an opportunity to expand and improve and move my way up the ladder. That's nice, and especially while I'm still in school, and being able to take care of what I need to take care of. So that's been a huge deal. Today's Wednesday, so this is the short day. It's 12:25 right now. I go back to, I have to clock back in about 12:41, and we dismiss at 1:30 p.m. So there's really not a lot of time students have for the shortened Wednesday. This will be my final professional development here, which I'm good with, because there's just a lot of things that I've had to sit through in the last few weeks that I go, really, I can't believe we actually have to do this. So that's been a, it's nice to be able to do that. I think that, going to this new level of management of schools is going to eliminate a lot of the BS that I've had to endure for the last several weeks. Lots of things that, that administration wants to include me in, but really none of it has anything to do with me. But, I guess this is all trial and error and things like that. But I still think, leaving this place is, I wish that some humanity would be restored to our leadership, because there's a lot missing. There's too much procedure and not enough thought into the individuality of all of our teachers and all of our students, I think. And I understand, it is pretty clear that, our school has to survive based on the success of test scores, but, there has to be that balance. Something has to be, some balance has to be struck here, because, there are times where, we're teaching at the cost of that, but that's my commentary on said things. But yeah, that's really where I am, having to do a lot of organization and disposal. I was really surprised during my meeting that there was really not a lot that was asked of me. The questions were weird. It was very open-ended, like, so is there anything else that we need to know? And there was a part of me that, like, I could go into desktop confessional mode and just go, here's what you need to know about my position. First off, if you can find yourself a technologically adept martyr, off the street who needs a job, then, you're a lucky bastard. There's a lot. I mean, and it goes down the list. If you're trying to find that, there is so much improvement that has to be done at this level. There's also so much that has to be done in terms of the revising of this position. The position as it's written is someone who is really good at pushing buttons, but doesn't have the ability to reach the students in a way that they need to be reached, while making sure that all of their technology works. It's a very weird balance, and it's one that you can't have a pure IT technician to do. Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a customer service aspect to this whole thing, and service with a smile, which, yeah, it was kind of awkward. I got radioed earlier today and asked if I had an extra MacBook Pro adapter, which I had dug in, and I actually had one left, because the office keeps stealing all of them, and I can't do anything about that. But there was some line that the principal put in, because there was a guest in the office when they were working in his office, and something to the degree of, when the guest had made the comment that, wow, your IT is quick, and he had made a comment of, like, service with a smile. It's like, I'm thinking in my head, it's like, do you have any idea, like, how fake my smile is right now? I mean, this smile isn't fake. Okay, this smile isn't fake, because, I mean, I'm talking about my exit, but it's just that it's like, I want to ask the question, and I'm never going to get the answer to it, but it's like, what do you view in this position? I mean, I understand that you inherited this role of principal, and I had to develop this role of technology assistant, but it's like, what do you view my position as? Am I always going to be the help? Is the person who is going to, take this position just going to be Mr. Fix-It? Because that is not originally, that's originally how it's written, but that's not how it's done here. Yes, I fix things, but, I also provide the integral backbone to the technology framework here. There's a lot of things that I have to think about that are beyond the scope of the jobs of our teachers, because their job is dealing with the kids. My job is making sure all this stuff works for the kids. And that's not just repair. That's also logistics. That's also inventory. That's also organization. That's also on-call support, while at the same time dealing with other fires that seem to be lit. There's a lot. So you can't say that all I am is the help, even though that's the way that I've been treated for the last 8 months. So I'm really hoping that there's going to be some sort of eye-opening revelation, but at the same time, considering the morale and the level of attitude here in terms of, positivity and support, and how artificial it really is right now, I'm not really sure where it's going to go. All I can do is wish the best for everyone, and just, be as supportive as I can until I walk out these doors on Friday afternoon. But it's, it's where we are. So tonight, it's been a long couple days. I think I need to go read something, but it's Wednesday, and last couple Wednesdays, I've actually snuck off to Dave and Buster's and had some fun during the during the half off the games night. So I don't know. I'm really contemplating a trip to Dave and Buster's just to mess around a little bit. Also thinking about some fishing. Not sure what I'm doing this weekend. It's up in the air. I gotta figure out my calendar and see, because this is the last weekend I have. It's the only weekend I have before I start the new job at Fullerton. So I'll figure out what to do with that. Aside from that, I mean, it's just continuing to do whatever work and cleanup that I can. They basically thrown in the towel, and I'm not going to continue on any other large projects that I had planned to do before my exit, because, well, you got to leave it to the next person, I guess, whoever that is. Yeah, it's been crazy, in that sense. I don't understand the amount of calm that is coming all over the administration right now. I'm not really thinking that they're calm at all. I think they're putting on a front, because there's a lot of things that are going to explode as soon as I leave. And it's not because I'm going to cause it. It's more because, things are just going to run through the pipeline and then get clogged, which is usually what happens. Brand new week, internet issues, computer stuff going on. And, central IT office is going to be sending someone. My IT liaison is going to be sent here. But, that person can only show up once a week. You don't have your concierge service anymore. A lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas that could have happened here, but now you don't have your concierge service anymore. So you're going to have to try to make that work. Perhaps you can ask the operations manager to see if she has any ideas. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm at, like I said, this is my thought on it, but I think that admin is, scared shitless at this point. It's a lot. It's a lot. And, just hope that, they understand that, they had to accelerate. They accelerated a lot of things that were going to happen eventually, but it was just, that you do what you do, right? Yeah. So until tomorrow, I guess, unless I have any other special stuff. Guaranteed, though, Friday, I said I am looking forward to my digital seppuku story, or that's I'm going to be putting on here, or I would call it, computer harikiri. You can call it what you will, but I will be webcasting as I delete myself off my computer and wipe this thing out one last time. It will be. I get to be one of the only employees that has to basically terminate myself. Go figure, right? I mean, who else is going to do it? You want to see all my secrets? I mean, not like I show them to you, but there you go. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good rest of the day, and don't blow anything up, too hard. Or if you do, make it look cool.